All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about Naguib Mahfouz's incredible masterpiece, the Cairo Trilogy. And listen, this is not going to be some dry high school book report. No way. I want you to think of this more like we're hopping into a time machine. We're going straight into the heart of one family, inside one house, at the exact moment their world, and really their entire country, is being completely ripped apart and put back together again. So this whole epic story really revolves around a single family home on a street called Palace Walk. And this house, it's not just a backdrop. It's basically a miniature version of the entire country. All the fights, the secrets, the clash between the old ways and the new ideas happening inside these walls, they're a perfect mirror of the huge social and political storm that's changing early 20th century Egypt right outside their front door. So, to really get a handle on this world, we've got to start inside that house, which is basically its own little kingdom. A kingdom built, more than anything, by its walls. This one quote, it says it all, really. This isn't just about who gets which room. It's about power. You've got the patriarch up on the top floor, the sons and the mother in the middle, and the other women on the ground floor. Every single person, every single room has a specific place in this rigid pecking order, and you do not step out of line. And believe me, this hierarchy is just so stark you can't miss it. On one side, you've got the men. They own the streets, right? Their world is business, it's politics, it's late-night socializing. But the women, a totally different story. They're almost completely locked away inside the home. I mean, their entire view of the outside world, of the city, of life, is literally filtered through the little wooden slats of a balcony window. They're not participants, they're observers, just watching life go by. Of course, every kingdom has to have a king, and the ruler of this household is the patriarch Al-Sayyid Ahmad Abdul-Jawad. And this guy is, for all intents and purposes, living two completely separate lives. He is a man of intense contradictions. Out in public, he's the guy everyone wants to be around. Charming, a fantastic storyteller, respected by all. But the second he walks through his own front door, that guy disappears. He becomes this private tyrant, ruling with what the book calls a stormy voice, and he demands absolute, perfect obedience. And the whole time, he's leading this secret life of pleasure, doing all the things he strictly forbids his own family from even thinking about. This hypocrisy, it's the engine that runs this entire family. Now, if Al-Sayyid Ahmad is all about absolute power, his wife, Amina, is the living, breathing result of the rules he makes. Her story really drives home what it means to live in a woman's world, a world of confinement. I mean, just let that sink in. Her entire life. She doesn't know the world from actually seeing it. She knows it from the stories her husband and sons bring back home. Her life is so unbelievably restricted that the one time she dares to go outside without his permission, it turns into the single most terrifying event of her life. And you can really see just how high the stakes are for her in this one single event. It all starts so simply. She's on a rare, approved trip to a shrine with her son, and she just begs him to make the walk last a little longer. She's desperate for just a few more moments of freedom. But the street is chaos. The book calls it clashing currents of pedestrians, and it just completely overwhelms her. She gets terrified, she slips from her son's hand, and she falls. Now, for a woman like her, this isn't just an accident, it is an absolute public catastrophe. And so she gets home, injured, living in the state of pure, bone-chilling terror, just waiting for her husband to find out that she broke his #1 rule. So you have the parents, totally locked into this traditional way of life. But the first cracks in those walls, well, they start to show up with the next generation, the sons, the rebellious sons. Each of these 3 sons, Yasin, Fahmy, and Kamal, represents a totally different kind of rebellion. They aren't just characters, they're like living symbols of change, and each one is pushing against their father's world from a completely different angle. You've got the sensual, the political, and the intellectual. Okay, first up is Yasin, the oldest. His rebellion is all about personal pleasure. He sees his dad's hypocrisy plain as day and basically decides, hey, I'm gonna get mine too. To him, this rigid, traditional marriage is just a trap. It looks good on the outside, but inside it's just dull and awful. So he rebels by secretly chasing the same life of pleasure his father enjoyed. Then there's Fahmy, the idealist. His rebellion isn't focused inward, it's pointed at the world outside. He gets completely swept up in the passionate student movements and nationalist protests against British colonial rule. He's the one who brings the dangerous, revolutionary politics of the streets right into his father's super-traditional, ordered home. And last, you have Kamal, the youngest. And his rebellion might just be the deepest of them all. He's not just questioning his dad's rules or the politics of the country, he's questioning everything. Science, God, love, art. He wants to understand the very building blocks of the world that his family just accepts without a second thought. He's threatening to take their whole worldview apart, piece by piece. Now, all of this intense family drama isn't happening in some kind of vacuum. While the sons are rebelling on the inside, a whole nation is waking up on the outside. Just to give you some context, we're talking about 1919. Huge demonstrations are breaking out against the British. This is Fahmy's world. Political leaders like Sa'd Zaghlul are becoming household names, symbols of a new future. The streets of Cairo, the same streets Amina is forbidden from walking on, are literally a battleground between protesters and soldiers. The tension inside that house is a direct echo of the tension gripping the entire country. And this, right here, is where it all clicks into place. The father's iron-fisted control, that's the old authoritarian order. The mother's confinement, that's a society that's been closed off from the world. And the son's different rebellions, pleasure, politics, philosophy, those are the very forces pulling Egypt, kicking and screaming into the modern age. The absolute genius of this trilogy is how it uses one family's private story to tell the epic tale of a whole country's painful, messy, and thrilling journey into something new. Which, at the end of the day, leaves us with this big question. It's the core conflict of the novel for sure, but it's also a question that every culture and every generation has to face. When the world you've always known is being replaced by something totally new and uncertain, how do you find your footing? That constant tug of war between the safety of the past and the promise of the future, well, that's a story that just never gets old.